Okay, the San Antonio Spurs, they have picks 9, 20, 25, and 38 in the upcoming draft. They have Lonnie Walker, who will be a restricted free agent. They have real pathways toward max cap space. I don't know what you do beyond that, because I think that if I was them, I'd be looking to consolidate and try and get like a real star player in there. I don't know how interested they are in that. I don't know how interested star players would be in trying to do that. There's one guy I really potentially like there, but I would be interested to hear your thoughts first.
San Antonio has to be a little bit reactive to who shows interest to what the market will bear, because my instinct is that there isn't that huge difference maker that is going to say, I want to sign on the dotted line right now. It'd be great. Yeah. If Zach LaVine says, I want to play for you guys, that's my choice for my maximum allowable salary. Great. Sign him up, do it. It'd be great. But if you can't, then you're sort of in a weirdly similar boat, not in team quality, but in theory with the Memphis Grizzlies, where you can use your financial flexibility in a lot of different ways. The difference is that Memphis has already established the level of play. They were the 2 seed in the West. They were very, very good. And with San Antonio, they're not at that level, but they could do a lot of different things. And as you mentioned, they have these 3 first-round picks. They've got a lot of flexibility, and they have young players of interest. So if you wanted to take a bigger swing, could do it. I don't know that they're going to trade Vassell or Primo or Keldon Johnson, but they could. And, Jakob Poeltl is extension eligible. We might talk about him a little bit later. And here's another one. And this is, kind of in line with San Antonio of not knowing what they're going to do. If I were not fully sold on Dejounte Murray, and, he just made the All-Star team,
Yep.
but if I were not, and I am not, like, so if San Antonio, if I got hired tomorrow to run the Spurs, which I'm guessing is not going to happen, this is actually the exact moment that I would shop him. And as weird as and deflating as that might be to some Spurs fans, there are 2 reasons why. One is he had an awesome, awesome year. Maybe the growth isn't linear or exponential. It's a little bit less than that. And Murray, like, I still think that he's, the biggest thing that point guard could do is generate good shots for himself and others. And that's not my favorite part of Dejounte Murray's game. So I would listen, and only if I got bowled over would I really do something there. And that's why for San Antonio, the world is their oyster, but only the things that actually want to go there.
So there's one move I would really try and make if I was San Antonio.
Okay.
I would go very hard toward Deandre Ayton.
Sure.
And they have real mechanisms to create max cap space this summer if they want to. They would renounce Lonnie Walker. They would, just have to move basically one guy. You could even do it like you could sign and trade Jakob Poeltl and something else to Phoenix.
Yeah, or you could just trade him. Yeah, I mean, the Spurs being hard capped wouldn't be a problem. If Phoenix were willing to play ball, you could do that. One thing I will note, and I have become much more of an Ayton believer. I mean, I had him second on my board, so it's not like I was a hater then. Right. But as much as I appreciate what Ayton does well, the marginal difference between Ayton and Poeltl as players versus the difference in their contracts, I think the difference between their contracts is going to be larger than the quality difference between them, because Ayton, he's not super scheme versatile. He's a better offensive player, obviously. But so you have a little bit of a concern there about, am I paying a premium for a non-premium position for a player who is properly rated when we have a guy who is underrated? But also, I brought up the marginal cost. Does that really matter to San Antonio? Who knows? And they might not even be able to extend Jakob Poeltl because of these archaic rules that are in place that if you're not a max level player, you can only do 120% or this other thing of your salary, and that might not be enough for Jakob.
Well, Poeltl's number is what? It's like 4 years, 55, 4 years,
something
58,
like that. Yeah,
something like that.
I think it'll be enough, but I also don't know.
Yeah, like if I was them. So here's the thing. I worry about how playable Jakob Poeltl is in a playoff series because I don't think he can punish teams offensively. Like, Jakob Poeltl is an incredible defender. I agree with you that the functional difference between DeAndre Ayton and Jakob Poeltl, I think DeAndre is very slightly better defensively because I think that he can switch a little bit better. And I think that makes him a little bit more valuable in the playoffs. But the functional difference between those two defensively is very much smaller than what people would think. The difference is that Jakob can't punish anybody offensively, and frankly, like I think would be a significant liability out on a
That's
court offensively
totally
in the
reasonable.
playoffs.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
to me, that is worth the functional difference almost in their salary. If you think DeAndre can play in the playoffs and has real offensive upside beyond that. I tend to be someone who thinks DeAndre has offensive upside moving forward. Like if you can get DeAndre, who has shown flashes of being able to knock down like a 17-footer, if he can knock down that shot consistently and you still have someone like Dejounte Murray to feed him the ball in pick and rolls, I think there is real value there. It's almost like you either move DeJounte and, restart a little bit with some of these younger guys, or you try to pair DeJounte with someone like DeAndre Ayton, I feel like, and then try to build the core like that
Well,
to me.
the idea basically being that you need to choose a timeline and then embrace it,
Yeah,
and I think that's
basically. Yeah.
totally fair with them.
Yeah. No, that's the one guy I would really look at. I really like the idea of pairing, those guys with Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson's obviously a really important guy to talk about here as well because he is extension eligible. I mean, I have no idea what that deal looks like. What, like
Same.
480, something like that, if
Me,
they would do
I
one?
mean, I would like to do it a little bit less, but if that's what it takes, then because like the thing about 480 is it's hard for me to imagine Keldon Johnson getting more than that in restricted free agency. So you're shifting a lot of risk from player to team. And if I were the team, I wouldn't want to do that unless I was getting a discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I
I
were
think
Keldon
there's a
Johnson,
real,
hell yeah.
so like we would have said that about Miles Bridges last year, right? And Keldon Johnson has a lot of similarities to Miles Bridges in terms of he is a 6'5" wing who is very young. Keldon Johnson last year shot 47% from the field, 40% from three, 76% from the line, and averaged 17 points a game. It's I like the question is how functional is he toward winning basketball at a really high level? Because he's not like a high level passer. He is a solid defender. He's not like an incredible defender by any stretch. But there's just a lot there for someone who's so young, who has been this productive. Like, I don't think he'd have any problems getting 480 on the market.
It's possible. I mean, I haven't done too much modeling of 23 yet, but there will be
Yeah.
I think there will be teams with money.